Novak Djokovic, the world's leading men's tennis player, has won the biggest victory of his career. That's his mother's view, following his release from immigration detention in Melbourne, setting him free to play in the Australian Open. Djokovic, who is opposed to vaccination, had been denied entry to Australia and his visa was cancelled. A judge in Melbourne has overturned that decision, and Djokovic says he wants to stay in the country and compete. From Melbourne, our correspondent Shaima Khalil sent this report.
Within hours of today's judgment, Novak Djokovic posted this picture on Twitter, saying he was pleased and grateful that the judge had overturned the visa cancellation, and despite all that has happened, he wants to stay and try to compete at the Australian Open. And this is the moment his supporters found out about his victory.
He won! Djokovic won!
What we saw today here in the court, that the Australian legal system is functioning, it is evidence-based, it is about justice.
I'm extremely happy, as everyone in Serbian community here.
The jubilant mood turned into chaos and confusion when it became unclear whether Djokovic would be allowed to stay, despite the court's decision in his favour. At one point, Djokovic's fans thought they'd caught a glimpse of him, but they clashed with the police and were dispersed with tear gas. For Djokovic's family, today brought relief, but also uncertainty about whether he'll be able to stay in the country.
I'm very worried, but I don't want to think like that. I just hope that it will stay like this, that he will be free and he will play.
It's been a battle for all of us. It's not just about Novak, obviously. We've been defending him every possible way we could because we know he's a truthful and rightful guy.
Novak Djokovic announced on January 4th that he was going to Australia after being granted a medical exemption, a move that angered many Australians who've endured strict COVID-19 rules. On January 5th, he arrived in Melbourne, but was held by Border Force officers. His visa was revoked, and he was taken to an immigration detention hotel where he remained until today, when his lawyers argued that his visa cancellation was unreasonable and a judge agreed, allowing him to stay in the country. While many in the tennis community believe Djokovic was unfairly treated, some argue that meeting any country's vaccination rules will pose problems for him beyond Australia.
He will have to face several times those problems, so I think bottom line, he will have to get vaccine. But for this time, for Australia, he got the visa and he flew in with all the best intention and having done all the works he should have done beforehand.
Today's events have moved and changed at a dizzying speed, and it's still unclear whether the government will seek to deport Novak Djokovic. But after his release, the tennis star said that he's focused on competing here in the Australian Open. It's only a few days before the tournament Djokovic has dominated is due to start. But his win in court today doesn't seem to have guaranteed him a chance to defend his title. Shaima Khalil, BBC News, Melbourne.